Good morning, everybody. Welcome to pre-market update. Happy Wednesday. You can see nice dump from last 2 days from the sell zone, which is here. You can see this is Nasdaq. The price came near third standard deviation, dumped from there to the bottom second standard deviation. You can see from top to bottom we had nice dump of around 3.14%. S&P 500 same thing here. From top to bottom you can see nice 2.34% dump, and the Dow Jones as well, you can see, came to second standard deviation to first standard deviation at the bottom, almost 1.64%. And Russell as well, you can see it even touched the third line and came back down almost 3.35%. Even Bitcoin, same story here. You can see Bitcoin top to bottom around 7.77% went above standard deviation, and here went below standard deviation. You can see how easy it is to know when to buy and sell, and using this indicator. And I share these level, actually for Bitcoin I'm sharing these levels for free. You can join the Discord channel for free, and I share snapshots every hour so you know when to buy. If you were in my channel, you knew we are in the danger zone. You knew we are going here in red lines. We don't want to be buying. We want to be buying in these green lines. So you can see here, same thing on S&P 500. This one is I'm only sharing with my members only. If you're interested in all other uh, commodities, any stocks I'm buying, like things like CNQ, which I'm holding right now, it was up, you can see 1.6%, and everything else was down. You can see yesterday all the stocks were down and CNQ was up. You can see how it is. And also, if you want to know about levels of your favorite stocks like Apple, you can see Apple is in the buy zone. This is where you want to be not shorting it, okay? Things like NVDA. You can see NVDA was in the pump area here in the sell zone. You should be shorting it, and you can see we had a nice 6% dump from sell zone to the buy zone. And now you don't want to be selling here, you want to be buying here. Things like this. You can see Tesla dump from sell zone to the buy zone. This is where you want to be buying in the buy zone, and the levels. So easy to know your favorite stocks. Any questions you have, you can ask me. Click the join button and join my Discord group. All right, guys, let's go and look at the broader market now. And let's start with uh, my favorite part, which is S&P 500 levels. You can see S&P 500. Two things we need to measure. We can see RSI. RSI needs to be in the green zone if you want to be buying, and this price action need to be in the green lines here. Okay. Now it's not always necessary that when it prices in the green zone that it will touch this green level. We need to make a collective decision on what makes sense. Okay, here also it came, RSI came near green zone here and bounce. So this means we are getting a bounce. And things like before here, RSI came to the green zone and bounce, and then again came to the green zone and then bounce, and again came to the green zone. So whenever it's in the green zone, we know that bounce is happening. That doesn't mean it's going to new high. It could be lower high, and it can keep going lower and keep touching the green lines. Okay, so this is what we need to take into account and make our trade. So now let's keep an eye on RSI. I don't know how long this is gonna go. This dump is gonna go. It's also possible, guys. 6309. Okay, this level keeps changing. It's possible we can still go by spring this year. Touch this red line, and also 100% at some point will be going in this green line as well. So we'll keep an eye on this. If you're a bull, you need to keep an eye saying this is your target, and if you're a bear, this is your target. Right now kind of in the middle, so we'll just see how it goes. I am not participating in tech stocks. I'm buying value stocks, like mainly oil sectors, because I don't want to. I think tech stocks are too high. I'll be looking to buy when S&P 500 is in the green zone. Alright, so let's do side-by-side comparison. Let's go to daily chart now, and let's go to SPX cycle chart. Looking for a rally. Looks like this rally is phasing out. Now looks like we've developed some kind of a trend line now. It looks like we're making a lower high, lower low. On S&P 500, you can see if this is a high, low, lower high. But yeah, we did make a lower low. This low was lower than this. Lower low, again lower high. And are we gonna? I think at some point we will go and fill this gap around 5783. That's election gap when US president elect Donald Trump was elected. So I think at some point we'll be going down here, filling this gap, and that could be a good target. Okay, so from where we closed yesterday to that gap is, to be honest, only around 2% away. This could happen in a couple of sessions, so keep that in mind. And on live futures, you can see we tried to rally after employment data at 8:30 a.m., but it did not help much. Still kind of flat right now. We'll see. Today they could still try to rally from here. On SPY, there are gaps right below around 585. They could come back down, fill that gap, and then go higher. SPX also have this gap around 58.76. They could go down, like it can go down now from here, fill this gap, and then rally. Okay, so that's quite possible as well. So just keep that in mind. So we'll see how time comes, and we'll figure it out. Nasdaq is on this US 100 holding this 50 moving average here, and DX chart is also, you can see all these gaps. And DX, actually I'm looking for this election gap, which is all the way down around 20,200. To be honest, that's quite a far away, almost 4% away. So that will be a good entry if we get that. Triple Qs, that gap is around 492.41. Okay, Dow Jones is also a little weaker, making a lower high. Again, this is a low before this low. Let's see if it's going to break down. And DIA ETF has a gap, actually a top gap around 432 and a bottom gap around 415. So we'll see which gap gets filled first. And Russell 2000 right now actually opening on a gap. uh, it was a gap there yesterday. They're opening to fill that gap, looks like. That gap is around 221. Then again, their top gaps around 237, and then bottom gap around 211 right now in the middle. We'll see how things progress. Bitcoin, you can see again coming back to support area. This was a lower high and then made a new high, and it needs to hold right here. If it breaks below this previous high, which is around 91, let's say 91, then it's going to be another change in trend. But for now, looks like it's still a uptrend. Okay, still a high compared to this high. If it can hold here and bounce, then it can still go higher. Else, it's going to come back down to the support area, and then eventually, when you see BTC gaps, there are gaps around 94,500, and then there's a gap around 77K. So we'll see which gap gets filled first. Ethereum chart, again, little stronger, still making a higher high. This low needs to hold below 3100. If it goes below 3100, then it's changing trend. ETH chart, there's a gap around 2970. Also, there's a top gap around 3937. So we'll see which gap they want to fill first, and we'll plan accordingly. Crude oil, very bullish. Actually came very close to filling this gap, which is where this 200 simple moving average blue line is also coming. Very bullish. Let's see if it's going to rally again. Um, Usually, whenever it touches these blue lines, it cools down a bit. Okay, you can see here it was the top and went down. Here it went above and then went down. Here it one day down and then again went higher. Here also you can see a lot of consolidation near 200 EMA SMA before it breaks out, and here also rejection. So it's not gonna be easy for it to just straight go higher. You can see here it touched first time, couple of days of downwards move and then go higher. So we can expect a little bit of cool down here on crude oil. It was a nice rally from, I think, from the bottom to the top. When people were bearish, I was holding crude oil. I was like, no, this is what I want to buy. And you can see you don't need to listen to anybody. It's up almost 13% now. CNQ, just a V-shaped recovery. All right, nice V-shaped recovery from bottom to top, where we closed yesterday almost 12% higher. Now there is some resistance here. Okay, so there is some resistance, so maybe we can wait for it to cool down a bit and then go higher again later on. There's also these massive gaps here on CNQ. You can see these green line massive gaps, so they could come back, fill this gap, and then make higher. That will give it some breather room before it goes higher. XLE, same thing, V-shaped recovery. And again, there are gaps to the top, also there are gaps to the bottom. We'll see how things play out. Let's move along to commodities, natural gas. This gap is still not filled around 3.25. We'll see. And then there's also this bigger gap at the bottom. Gold futures trying its best, tried to close above all moving averages, could not, but today also trying the same thing. We'll see. For some reason, if it comes down, there's also the support around 200 EMA, SMA blue lines and around 2400. Silver also trying its best, trying to change it. And this is a new high, so you can see in front of many moving averages, so finding some resistance. Copper bouncing again in front of many moving averages, resistances here. Sugar again near bottom support here, so the lower it goes, the better the buy it is. Wheat is also in the support area here. Corn is also above all moving averages, looking very nice since it bottomed here. And then dollar also looking very bullish. Today also looking very bullish. Couple of days ago came back to 20 moving average and then bouncing from there. All right. In terms of stocks, Apple holding above this 50 yellow line, 50 EMA, but there's a gap around 233, and that's where I think this support is. So want it to go a little lower in this support area, okay, before it can bounce. Apart from that, I don't see Meta still very high for me to buy. Netflix is interesting, getting a 7 counts buy signal, um, and there are not a lot of gaps until this election gap, sorry, earnings gap. So we'll see how it plays out, but could be a good buy here. Cool down a bit from top to the bottom. How much it went down? Let's just quickly take a look. Not a lot, 6.85%. Amazon also near highs with multiple gaps. Google also multiple gaps. Microsoft is pretty interesting. Every time it touches this blue line, it bounces for some reason. Bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, bounce here. And if it comes back again down here, there's a gap around 419. Look to buy. Um, Service now is okay. NVDA massive dump after a pump, multiple gaps. Still, this gap is not filled around 140. So looking for that gap to fill. Although it's a pre-market, we'll see what they do. Tesla also looks like the top is in my opinion, with first support around here, 320s, and then next support around 200s. So we'll see. AMD was down. Multiple gaps still to be filled to the downside. We'll see what they want to do. Apart from that, I don't see anything else. ENS is bouncing. Looks like this could be the bottom. WCN, I'm keeping an eye. Looks like it's consolidating. Let's see if it can form a bottom. And then CSU near 200 EMA, SMA. This is pretty rare. Every time it comes here, usually it's a good time to buy. So we'll see if it picks up today. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Hit the like button on your way out. And then VIX is bouncing. Gaps are down, gaps to the up. Let's see if it goes higher, S&P 500 is going lower. If it goes lower, S&P 500 is going higher. I don't know where it's going to go. In my opinion, SPX could go lower, fill this election gap. That means VIX could bounce from here and then fill this 27.64 gap. All right, guys, if there are any stocks you want me to review, put a comment in the description of this video and I will take a look tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.